Coach Miguel Cardoso made a statement about Sundowns being targeted, I guess, by the referees and the PSL because they are getting a lot of yellow cards and red cards. And you might think about this and take something out of it and be like, yeah, Sundowns is actually being targeted and no one wants them to win the league. And that's an easy way out of this. But you're looking at these statements and then everyone is leaving it the loose ends. I think the biggest question is, what is causing Sundowns lots of yellow cards? Like, why are they getting so much yellow cards? And once we get to the bottom of this, we're going to get a clear picture of why they actually get so many yellow cards. Because think about the fact that if it's referees that are causing all of this, it means it's painting the bad picture for our league. But if it's also the PSL as well, it's not an ethical thing that you can do in a sport tournament or in a sport. So I think this is bad for Sundowns, and then it's bad also for PSL picture out there into people when they're looking at it. Because think about the fact that Cardoso provided us numbers, which I don't think all of us we knew about them until he actually sat down and collect all this information and said it to us. Like Sundowns got 50 plus yellow cards and 4 red cards, and then Pirates got 28 yellow cards and no red cards. And you might think in yourself, actually it makes sense because they were trying to make Sundowns lose more players towards the end of the league so Pirates can capitalize. That's a straight thing about it. But think about the fact that people now has been raising lots of information that we didn't even actually look at. Now people are saying, what about the CAF Champions League? Then you might remember that the president of CAF is Dr. Patrice Motsepe, who's the owner of Sundowns. And then you go back to PSL, the man in charge is Dr. Ivan Khoza, the owner of Orlando Pirates. So when you're looking at the PSL, it kind of makes sense that maybe Dr. Ivan Khoza had something to do with this so that Sundowns doesn't win the league. But now you cross over to the CAF Champions League, you're like, wait a minute, how about this one now? Because actually your president is the one that is in charge of the CAF, so he might not gonna do this to actually you. He might be trying to do to other teams so that you benefit, because I think that's the blueprint of doing this thing. But guess what? The numbers are saying they got 25 yellow cards in 12 games and 2 red cards. Think about the fact that, and you might be like, oh, this was just unlucky, the referees were so harsh on them. Okay, we go to the national team. You think on the national team, these guys are there getting yellow cards and red cards, and you're realizing that maybe it's an issue at Sundowns, but people are thinking about it's a discipline issue. And you think about the fact that how many fouls that you've noticed that happens in football where people, they need to take one for the team, and how many fouls that happen that actually now they above the normal foul rule, and then you need to get a yellow card. So we need to also understand those things. So I think where we are not looking at the games. Sundowns always have the most ball possession. Think about the fact that every time they play, this is the team that will have most ball possession, and teams will be just sitting back. Sundowns will push the high line. But those things comes with consequences. Think about the fact that you are actually suffering from your own success, because these are the things that you actually need to take if you're going to get so much success on the ball. Because when you actually have so much possession, you actually move your line into very, very high, like to mid-center, so that you press the other team at the back and you want them to make mistakes so you can score goals. That's the whole point of the ball position. So try and move the ball, find the spaces until you get the goal. But now, the issue is, what happens if these guys get the ball and hit you on the counter? You remember the first game of Sundowns when they were playing against TS Galaxy? Before the match, Coach Parker said, we are looking to exploit the spaces behind that they leave, because they knew that they leave. So we're going to go back to last season so that you understand what happens. You remember that Mudau has been used as one of the wingers that will attack on the left-hand side. He doesn't play number 3. He's playing more as a wing at Sundowns, delivering the ball into the front line of the Sundowns, and then playing more as an extra midfielder as well. And you can play like a hybrid winger. So that's how they were attacking last season. But you know what that causes? It causes one of the midfielders to be the one that drag forward and cover for that wing that's Motiba left. And most of the time, because they're having the ball, and when they counter those other teams, they have to make those fouls, which they called take one for the team, so that the team can come back and defend. And people will be like, no, but why is that a problem? It's according to the research that if a team is holding more position, they will push their line very high and they will be exploited in the way of counter-attack. So teams knows this. And when Coach Parker actually talked about this, I was like, this is a thing I always complain about when it comes to PSL teams, that you guys don't study other teams. Like, how are they doing it? How are you going to make sure that you capitalize on them? Like I always say, Orlando Pirates will give you 3 to 4 chances a game. It's up to you if you're going to take them, but they're going to give it to you. So teams, they haven't actually realized that these guys are going to give us the chance. So what is going to happen if we get this chance? And I think teams now, when it's come to Sundowns, they realize that this is what we're going to do. And then the problem becomes, because now you are no longer defending as a flat 4 at the back. You are defending sometimes as a 2 or sometimes as a 3, and the counter attacker maybe on 3-on-3 or 2-on-3. But now you are facing your pole. You have to make sure that you make any foul that is going to allow the team to come back. But now, what are those foul calls? Because the team was attacking, you're going to get a yellow card. It's not like it was a dangerous foul. It's not like you made a lot of all things that deserve a yellow card. If you did a foul and there were other people at the back that were going to be able to mark the player, you not get a yellow card. Maybe. But maybe you get a yellow card depending on how the referee rule is. But I think most of the time it's because you are making those called professional fouls. Professional fouls comes with a yellow card. We all know this. We've watched soccer. We know, I'm not the referee, but I've known that most of the professional fouls, especially when the team is attacking you on a counter, you are going to get a yellow card. And some referees, they might not give you a yellow card with their own reason, but most of the time, like 8 times out of 10, you're going to get a yellow card. So I think this is where Sundowns' problem is. Sundowns is holding so much ball possession and they don't think about defending most of the time. And the reason being is, most of the time when Sundowns, they were starting in the PSL, they were actually dominating teams to a point that teams couldn't even throw a punch to them to say, okay, maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll try this thing. Team will just flat down, sometimes run over them. But now, teams have been studied the fact that actually, when you can do this and this and this to them, you can actually get spaces behind them and go scores goals. And think about the fact that you may be saying, nah, this is not true what you are saying. Think about the fact that Sundowns, it's so hard for them to keep a clean sheet. And most of the goals that they concede are just silly goals at some point, especially when it's a run of play. Think about the fact that it was a counter and then the keeper came out in the game against Amazulu for no reason and then it ended up being a goal. And it's one of those things where they never defend in a shape where everyone is aware that now we are defending. Most of the time, it's a defend where everyone is panicking because it's a counter-attack. And those moments, they lead into the cards. Most of the time, if you are last man, you're going to get a red card because you're denying a clear goal scoring opportunity. So we all know the rules. And I think we've seen it what they do in the Bafana as well. And then someone will be like, okay, why are they actually now doing it in the Bafana? The Bafana thing, I think it comes with the habits. Think about the fact that when you are a player that's played a certain way, for you to change is going to take time because you are not the player you are going to be when you're taking the new role or taking some different style. I will make an example. If you all watch football, you remember Ronaldo was a winger, ended up being a striker. But he didn't like blow up and show as the best striker, but he started moving the right way and the right thing. But then that takes habits. So most of the time when you're looking at those players in the national team, they come with those habits and then they get yellow cards because it's been in their nature to make sure that you get professional foul. Miguel Cardoso can't come out to us maybe and tell us that it's one of their tactics to actually make sure that you break down teams so that you can allow the team to come back and defend. He's not going to come out maybe and say that if it's their technical. Oh, it might not be a thing that he said it. The players have been doing this thing so long that now they know it has a norm for them to do it. What is the worst by you taking a yellow card? The thing is, yellow card accumulates and then you get suspension. And by the time you're taking the first yellow card, you don't mind it because you're like, okay, that was a scary moment for us. I'm taking a one for the team. And then later on, the team will come back and then now you're playing with the card. But now what you don't understand is in the following games, you're gonna keep on doing the same thing because now it's in your nature of habits that you are going to do this. So I think at the end of the day, this is not a good statement that you can say, especially about the PSL, about the referees, because I think this is where it's going. He never said that who targeting Sundowns, but I think if there's someone who's targeting Sundowns, this should be between those two, because those are the people that I think they can have a strong hand of doing it if there is any assumption of these two doing it, because there is no way that other teams will be doing this to Sundowns. Because think about the fact that's a huge operation to run. And then why Orlando Pirates is being picked? Orlando Pirates is the team that has been challenging them for the 4 to 5 seasons, past 5 seasons. And now they won the league last season, and Miguel Cardoso hasn't won the league, and which is the issue for him. That's why it was a good thing for him to win the CAF Champions League, because he needed to buy time to his strategy. And what is the biggest thing that he's facing right now? He's facing the rebuild. The rebuild is one of the painful things every coach, every player, and every fan will have to go through in life and cycles of supporting your team, because your team wouldn't have all the superstars throughout. You have to rebuild at some point. So the rebuild is not going to be easy for him. It's going to be tough there and there. Teams will come and test him there and there. And the petting, if it doesn't change the mindset of the players, they are keep on going, get the yellow cards, because these people, they are making sure out there that they want to have the ball on their side. They want to push you to the back. They want to press you so that you can't come out. But the problem is they never plan. What happened if you come out? Because that's the biggest thing. You need to plan. What happened if we get counter here? Are we going to tackle these people to get cards? Are we trying to shape them to buy time for everyone to come back? How are we going to defend? And I think it's the strategy that they need to go back into a drawing board and fix it. And I think if Miguel Cardoso can come back in one of the press conferences and maybe apologize for the statement that maybe he made a mistake. I understand sometimes we say things that we never actually thought about what impact it should actually cause. Because think about the fact now that people will see that thing online and then think about PSL is a dirty league that doesn't want other teams to actually win. And the referees as well, they have buying in the scheme of making sure that there is no team, Sundowns, winning the league. I think that's not a good picture for our league as well. So if Miguel Cardoso can come out and apologize, I will really appreciate it. I know maybe you'll be like, who are you actually to demand an apology from him? But I think for the benefit of our league, you need to come out and apologize and say, I didn't mean to say it that way, because in my view, I think you're accusing the referees and the league. So tell me, what do you think about the problem that is causing lots of problems and yellow cards, red cards for Sundowns? Make sure that you comment down below. Let's continue the conversation. If you've been watching the video up until this far, thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. If you've subscribed, thank you so much. We're gonna grow one bit like the baby steps. And my name is Pop Kiss. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.